Welcome to On the Vineyard, a 10-minute weekly wrap-up of news from the Vineyard Gazette Media Group on Martha's Vineyard. I'm publisher Monica Brady-Meyerhoff, and as you can hear, I've lost my voice a little bit, but we're so glad you're here. On the Vineyard is sponsored by Martha's Vineyard Bank. It feels good to see the sun still shining at 6 o'clock when the bells of the Edgartown Federated Church ring. It means the days are getting longer. This week, West Tisbury and Chilmark both held their town meetings.
They approved funding for a food waste recycler at the local drop-off to reduce food waste in town.
More on that story in a moment. Soon, I'm dreaming it will be time for a drink on the Oak Bluffs waterfront, and there will be a new place to sip and watch the sunset. The Jetty Beach House will be opening on Memorial Day in the former Lobsterville Bar and Grill space on the harbor in Oak Bluffs. The venture, which will spotlight local seafood and craft cocktails, is spearheaded in part by the owner of Midnight Taco and Midnight Mediterranean. And also the closed Martha's Vineyard Chowder Company space will become Inkwell Beach House, a multi-purpose event space. That's the sound of the historic press in the Vineyard Gazette offices in Edgartown printing the paper. And that means it's time to go upstairs to the newsroom and check in with Bill Evel and the reporters on this week's news.
Hello, everyone. Town meetings were back in business this week in Tisbury and Chilmark. Haley Sandlow was at the Chilmark town meeting and the Chilmark election. Let's start with the election. There was a sort of a unique select board election. First, there was a sole candidate, and then there was also a write-in candidate.
That's right, Bill. Rebecca Haig was the only one to take out papers this year, but then Katie Carroll launched a write-in campaign shortly afterwards, and Rebecca Haig secured the select board seat after a long election day where the count lasted late into the evening.
Because it was quite close, even for a write-in candidate.
Yeah, pretty much. Rebecca got about 60% of the votes to Katie's 40%. Rebecca's been a full-time resident of Chilmark for about 11 years. She used to run Island Grown Initiative, and she has a long history of working in nonprofits and leading action groups.
So this is your first town meeting season. You've already done West Tisbury. Now we are at Chilmark. Give the listeners some of the highlights of the Chilmark town meeting.
So some of the highlights include the articles that Chilmark passed. They approved funding for a food waste recycler at the local drop-off to reduce food waste in town. They approved an override that includes funding for assessments at the Up Island School District and also for increased hours at the library. So that half day on the Friday is going to be a full day now. And there were also some fun bits, too. There was a report that the moderator and the Historical Commission presented about the role of town meetings 250 years ago, around the time of the Revolution, and how our town meetings contributed to that revolutionary spirit.
Nice. I always appreciate that about town meetings. There's the important business that has to get done, but there is that really, that feeling of deep community. One of the things that's been a common denominator at all the town meetings are these overrides, but so far all have passed.
That's right. It's a combination of rising assessments for the schools as well as operational costs for governments. And it means that taxes go up, but the towns on island already have much lower tax rates than the average in Massachusetts. So when it goes up, it's relative to the rest of the state. And voters seem to agree that it was worth it to continue providing services and education to the island.
All right. Thanks so much, Haley.
Thanks, Bill.
Turning now to Gwen Skiles, who had a really wonderful story on a really important man, Brad Lopes. He is the education director for the Wampanoag Tribe of Gayhead, Aquinnah, and he's also works for the Aquinnah Cultural Center. It's a really beautiful deep dive story. I encourage you to read the whole thing. But Gwen, how did this all start out?
Yeah, so I've gotten to know Brad over a couple of years now, and he's doing a lot of really great work here on the Vineyard. He's in classrooms teaching students and teachers about the tribe's history and also the living history as well. He's just doing remarkable work to help tribal students on the island.
And what I really loved about your story, you hear so many stories about teachers who had these great experiences as students and inspired to become teachers. Brad, it's flipped. He had really hard times as a Native American student, what happened to him, and he wanted to change that narrative.
Yeah, Brad opened up to me about his time in education in Maine, and it was really difficult for him. He went to a high school that had a Native American as its mascot, and it was he faced a lot of microaggressions, and that really is the root of his philosophy with teaching, and it's also at the root of his advocacy today and what he brings to the Vineyard.
Yeah, it really is a wonderful story. I encourage you to read it, and it is also indicative of all the stories that Gwen has written since she's been here. And I'm already choking up here. You probably see my tears if you were here in the room with me. This is Gwen's last week, so Friday's paper is her last paper. She came to us right out of college, about a week or two after college, and has been here for 2 years and has made such an impression in the newsroom around the island. She is beloved, and we are really sad to see her go, but so excited that we had her in the newsroom for 2 years. Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you. It's been great getting to know this community.
And of course, you're always welcome back. You can jump in anytime. I often reach out and ask people to, do some articles down the road when we see some things. So this will not be the last time you've heard of Gwen Skiles.
You can read more on these stories and all the news for free at vineyardgazette.com. The Abby Bender Schmantz Theater and Circuit Arts is hosting a No Bones, a comedy festival of humorous proportions, from May 6th to May 10th. It will bring together 14 different acts from Martha's Vineyard, New York City, and elsewhere. And if you're hosting a party on the island this year or next year, it could be a graduation party, a wedding, a retirement, you'll want to come to Martha's Party Vendor Showcase. This party brings together the island's top caterers, florists, event designers, and more in a beautifully curated party setting. You can eat and drink from all the best on the island and get inspiration for table settings, florals, and more. This is all happening Monday, May 18th at the Grange Hall, and you can get tickets at marthasparty.com. Herring spawning season runs from March through June. The Wampanoag Tribe of Gayhead, Aquinnah, has a Herring Creek camera that's now live and streaming 24/7 for the duration of the spring migration. That makes me think of Harry Smith, a fisherman farmer and the last member of the Matacasset Herring Creek Company. Here is Smith in an interview from 1982 talking about catching herring.
A lot of the herring, even in them days, went for bait. And we used to have trawlers coming from Gloucester here and getting bait for halibut. Well, we'd leave here, and first thing we do, like in the morning, we'll say in herring, we'd go over and see if there's any herring in the net, because the net was all stretched out over the creek, and they're going into spawn. So what they do is they go up and they butt this net, and they keep butting it, see, and then you just pull the arm ashore, the net or the end ashore, then you bunch them up in it, and then you when I was a kid, you'd back the horse and wagon right down into the net, and then they'd bail them. Then everything was done by hand.
Harry Smith died in 1991. Thank you to Lindsay Lee and the Martha's Vineyard Museum for this archival audio. I'll have a compilation video of the Herring Creek camera on the YouTube version of this podcast. Just search for the Vineyard Gazette. Our theme music is from island composer and musician Michael Hayden. If you like the show, please follow us so you won't miss an episode, and tell a friend who lives on the vineyard. Thanks to our sponsor, Martha's Vineyard Bank, a community bank whose employees live and work locally, providing personalized guidance and committed to understanding the needs of the community. Learn more at mvbank.com. I'm Monica Brady-Meyerhoff, and I'll be back in 2 weeks, taking the week off next week, and Louisa will be filling in for me. Thanks for joining us on The Vineyard. Talk to you soon.